Welcome to StoryVerse, where stories speak and you learn English naturally. Chapter 1. A Morning Full of Calls. It was Thursday morning, and Sally was still lying in bed, half asleep, wrapped in the quiet comfort of her blankets. Suddenly, ring, ring! A sharp sound broke the stillness. Her phone was ringing. For a second she froze, eyes wide open, trying to remember where she had left it last night. She turned on her side and reached toward the little table near her pillow. No phone. Frowning, she sat up, brushed her hair from her face, and looked inside her bag. Again, nothing. "Where did I leave it?" she whispered to herself, now more awake and curious. She slipped out of bed, her feet touching the cold floor, and bent down to check under the bed. Still nothing. A little annoyed, she moved toward the wardrobe and then peeked behind the door, and there it was, her phone glowing as it rang. She snatched it up and quickly pressed to answer. "Hello?" she said, her voice still heavy with sleep. "Good morning, Sally," came the voice on the other end. It was Andrew, her boyfriend. His voice always carried a confident tone, like someone who had no worries in life. Andrew had money, a beautiful and expensive car, and a schedule full of plans. "Andrew, it's only 7 o'clock," Sally mumbled, yawning. "Don't forget," Andrew said quickly. "We're meeting Michael tonight. It's important. He's my new boss. Wear your blue skirt, Sally. I like that skirt. I must go now. See you at 6:30. Bye." "Wait, Andrew." But the call had already ended. Sally stared at the screen and sighed. That blue skirt? She couldn't possibly wear it. It was dirty, buried in the laundry basket. She got ready for breakfast and went into the kitchen, where her mother was spreading butter on toast and her younger brother Jack was playing with his phone. "I'm going out tonight," Sally told her mother, reaching for a mug. "Andrew and I are meeting his new boss." Jack looked up with a smirk. "Huh, Andrew again." "Be quiet, Jack," Sally said sharply, though she couldn't help smiling. "Nice, Andrew," Jack teased. "Who says, 'Sally, I want a sandwich'? Sally, I don't like your hair." "Jack!" Sally laughed despite herself, but then she stood up quickly as if to escape the conversation. Jack ran out of the room, laughing all the way down the hallway. Later that morning, Sally squeezed onto a crowded train. Around her, almost everyone was on their phones. A man near the door muttered into his call, "John, get up and go to work. It's late." "Have you got my money?" Another voice somewhere behind her reminded someone to buy groceries. Sally smiled faintly at the chaos of other people's lives spilling into the train's air. Her own phone buzzed again. "Sally," Andrew's voice came through, a little impatient now. "Meet me at 6, not 6:30, okay?" "Okay, Andrew," Sally said quietly. She started to ask about the blue skirt, but he had already hung up. The train went into a tunnel, and the signals dropped. Everyone's phones went silent, and for a few minutes people were forced to talk to each other instead. She overheard a cheerful conversation. "Hello, Max. How are you?" And another voice replying about a new office in Bank Street. Then the train came out of the tunnel, and instantly the chorus of ringing phones resumed. Sally leaned back in her seat, her mind running in circles. The blue skirt was dirty. What could she wear tonight? And why did Andrew always sound like he was giving instructions rather than invitations? Her thoughts tangled with the hum of the train wheels as she held her phone close, already dreading the next call that might come. Chapter 2. The Phone Mix Up. The city was busy after lunch, and Sally felt lighter than she had in days. She and Claire had spent the afternoon looking for a new skirt, and at last she'd found one. A bold red skirt she couldn't stop thinking about. Claire had gone back to the office, but Sally decided to stop at a small cafe for a coffee before returning to work. She settled into a corner seat, set her shopping bag by her feet, and called her mother. "Hi, Mom. I've got a new skirt," she said brightly. "It's beautiful. I'm going to wear it tonight." "What color is it?" her mother asked. "Red." "That's lovely," her mother said warmly. "Red is a good color for you." Sally smiled, sipping her coffee, unaware that a man at the next table was finishing his own drink. Paul, tall with tired eyes from a long day at work, stood up while still speaking to a friend on the phone. He turned, bumping slightly against Sally's table. Her shopping bag tipped over, the red skirt spilling out. "Oh, I'm so sorry," Paul said quickly. He knelt, picked up the bag, and handed it back. "That's okay," Sally said, smiling. "Thank you." Paul hesitated, caught by the warmth of her smile, then nodded and left. Sally watched him go, not knowing that in that small shuffle their phones had been switched, his slipping into her bag, hers into his hand. Back at her desk later, Sally noticed something odd. Her phone rang. She picked up. "Hello?" "Is Paul there?" a woman asked. "No. I'm sorry, you have the wrong number." "But this is Paul's phone," the woman said. "I'm his sister, Catherine. Please tell him there's a party at my house tonight, 8 o'clock. Sally frowned. Okay. I'll try to pass that on." Confused, she ended the call. Who's Paul? She wondered. Meanwhile, Paul was at his office. His phone rang, only it wasn't his phone anymore. "Hello? Andrew?" a man's voice asked urgently. "No, this isn't Andrew. Where's Sally?" the voice demanded. "Who's Sally?" "You've got the wrong number," Paul said, bewildered. After a few more strange calls, both Sally and Paul began to piece it together. Somewhere between the cafe and now, they had exchanged phones. Sally scrolled through the unfamiliar contacts and realized this wasn't her phone. Her heart skipped. Her whole evening depended on her own phone, and she needed it back. Paul, meanwhile, was rifling through messages on the strange phone in his hand. "This isn't mine," he thought. "This is hers. Sally's." He stared at the screen, debating what to do, and finally dialed a number that seemed familiar. His own. Sally answered on the second ring. "Hello? Hi. Is this Sally? Yes. Wait, is this Paul? Yes, I think we have each other's phones." Relief flooded her. "Oh, thank goodness. Where are you?" "I work on College Road." "Where are you?" "Manchester Street," Sally replied. "Can we meet in Queen Square after work?" "Perfect," Paul said. "What time?" 5:30. I'll call you then." When Sally hung up, she looked at the red skirt folded neatly in her bag. The mix-up had thrown her day into chaos, but a strange excitement bubbled inside her. She didn't know Paul, yet she couldn't stop smiling as she imagined meeting him in Queen Square that evening. Chapter 3. A New Connection. By the time Sally finished work, the sky over the city had turned soft and golden. She slipped into her new red skirt, smoothed it down with nervous hands, and took a deep breath before stepping out into the cool evening air. Her heart thumped with a mixture of excitement and uncertainty as she made her way toward Queen Square. The square was already alive with people. Office workers hurried home, couples strolled hand in hand, and the faint sound of a violin drifted from a nearby corner. Sally paused for a moment, scanning the crowd. Her phone, Paul's phone, buzzed in her bag. "Hello?" she said quickly. "Hi, it's Paul. I'm here in the square." His voice came through, calm but hopeful. "Where exactly?" she asked, turning slowly in place. "Near the trees on the west side," Paul replied. Sally threaded her way through the crowd, eyes searching. Finally, she saw him, tall, a little shy-looking, standing near a line of old oak trees. When their eyes met, Paul smiled, and something about that smile made Sally's nervousness dissolve. "Are you Paul?" she asked, stepping closer. "Yes," he said, almost laughing with relief. "And you must be Sally." "I am," she said softly. "We finally meet." They both held out the phones at the same time, laughing as they swapped them back. "Here's yours," Paul said. "Thank you," Sally replied, clutching it like an old friend returned. For a moment they simply stood there, the busy square fading into a blur around them. Paul cleared his throat. "Look, about earlier. I'm really sorry for the mix-up." Sally shook her head. "Don't be. Things like this happen. Honestly, it's been interesting." He chuckled. "Interesting is one word for it." Sally was about to say goodbye when Paul hesitated. "Actually," he began, "I got a message on your phone earlier. From Andrew, I think. But you don't have to—" Sally raised her hand gently. "It's fine. I don't need the message." Her eyes softened. "I think I might be done listening to Andrew." Paul nodded slowly, sensing there was more to the story but not wanting to pry. Instead, he took a small step closer. "My sister Catherine. Remember the call you got earlier? It's her birthday tonight. She's having a little party at her place. I was wondering—" He hesitated, then smiled. "Would you like to come with me?" Sally blinked in surprise. The invitation was unexpected, but the thought of going back to her flat alone, of answering Andrew's calls, suddenly felt heavy and dull. This, however, this felt like something new, something light. "I'd love to," she said at last, a shy smile spreading across her face. "Great," Paul said, relief brightening his eyes. He glanced across the square. "There's a flower stall over there. I should take something for Catherine. Come with me?" Together they walked toward the flower stall. Paul chose a bouquet of bright lilies, and Sally laughed as he insisted on adding a single red rose. "For luck," he said. As they walked side by side toward the evening, Sally felt something shift inside her. It had started with a simple mix-up, a lost phone, and a chance meeting. But now, as they stepped into the fading sunlight, it felt like the beginning of something far more meaningful. And as Sally tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear and glanced at Paul, she couldn't help thinking, sometimes the best connections happen by accident.